They say the haunted highway cuts the land like a scar, and it never really heals at all. Truckers avoid that route, but some take the risk for time, money, or pure curiosity. If you know about the truckers' reports of those who returned, different others never returned. Not the truck, not the engine sound on the radio, just silence. I took that route by mistake, or maybe fate, and what I saw wasn't meant for humans. Signals in the sky, sounds without source, a cabin that moved without my hands. The lights in the sky started blinking when I passed a sign. Route 47, the road remembers. From that moment, I knew this road collects supernatural stories, and I was the next one. I had heard truckers' reports of vanishing after driving the haunted highway at night. Some spoke of shadows, voices, others of alien abduction hidden in layers of fog. But I always thought it was truck stop talk, legends to scare new drivers on the road. Yet that night, I drove through it, and the asphalt felt like it was watching me. The GPS froze. The radio made a strange hiss, like breathing with a broken machine. I saw the lights in the sky for the first time. They moved slowly, hunting something. The engine sputtered, then stopped. The headlights lit nothing but a wall of emptiness. In the mirror, shadows crossed, pacing, like something looking for a way in. I tried opening the door, but the handle melted in my hand, soft like burning wax. The road was alive, and it seemed pleased to have finally found me. The fog came out of nowhere, swallowing the mirror like the road wanted to erase me. I tried to reverse, but the dash flashed irreversible route continue in warped text. On the radio, children's voices repeated my name, mispronouncing it like rehearsals. The mirror showed the cab, but someone was now seated in the passenger seat. It was me, or something with my face smiling, blinking just before I did. Outside, the lamp posts tilted gently, like trying to follow or lean toward me. The engine restarted itself, but now thumped like it had a slow, unnatural heartbeat. Each mile seemed to repeat itself, as if trapped in a looping tape with no end. Ahead, I saw another truck. Same model, same plate, same bumper sticker. I looked in and saw myself at the wheel, staring back with empty black eyes. I slammed the brakes hard, but the truck didn't react, as if pretending to be a machine. My reflection smiled without my command. My eyes glowed with a light that wasn't mine. The cab grew hotter, but the air was dense and cold like an old basement's wet walls. The radio now spoke in a mix of grunts and static, a language that hurt my head. Something moved inside the dashboard, as if there was life behind its wiring. The lights in the sky multiplied, dropping slowly like falling drops from nowhere. A strong buzzing filled everything. My teeth vibrated with the sound of unknown energy. The trees opened wide like they welcomed something ancient and hungry from above. The cracked asphalt shifted beneath me, alive like veins under burning skin, and the wheel turned itself, driving me out of logic and far from the known world. A beam sliced the sky. It wasn't lightning. It was an eye, wide open and watching. Within it, shapes tried to emerge, but they had no form, only intent, only presence. I felt something trying to crawl into me. Through my ears, eyes, thoughts, my seat sank, like I was descending into something made of air and memory. The radio now spoke in my voice, but soulless, hollow, robotic. Outside, I saw floating signs. You've been chosen. The body is temporary. The lights above fixed on my truck, and time stopped. Everything went silent. I tried to scream, but the sound got stuck, frozen in my throat by an unseen force. The cab darkened from inside, despite the headlights. A room with no windows. In the pitch black, I felt a hand on my shoulder, but I wasn't supposed to be touched. The hand disappeared but left warmth like a fever I couldn't measure or shake. The cab's walls changed, now smooth, metallic, pulsing like distant sonar signals. The rear view showed no road, just mist, reflections, and lights fading into shadows. When I blinked, I saw flashes of another place, a table, tools, eyes that never blink. I tried to remember anything, but even my name felt like someone else's memory. My body trembled, not from fear, but from something waking up inside my own skin. The radio spoke. Transfer begun. Entity compatible. Cycle underway. I cried, but the tears floated upward, gravity forgotten in whatever space I was in. The steering wheel vanished. In its place, a blue orb pulsed with my heart's rhythm. When I touched it, I saw my face aging rapidly and smiling as it crumbled to dust. The next turn was endless, a tunnel made of thoughts, echoes, and broken memories. Billboards passed by showing my face. They read, "Prototype complete, 47th accepted." Photos lined the cab, but none belonged to my life. They were stolen or planted. In the passenger seat was now a journal. I opened it. It was mine, written in symbols. Each page showed scenes I hadn't lived, but remembered with haunting clarity. Along the road, I saw trucks abandoned, their headlights still burning, with no driver. The sky spiraled with lights forming patterns older than anything I could understand. The road opened like a mouth, a living crater swallowing me without needing brakes. The radio's chorus grew. "You've been integrated. The road will keep your place." And I realized I wasn't the first, and my truck was already waiting for the next me. Asterisk, the cab shook like the engine stalled, but the tank was full, and everything was off. On the windshield, words appeared in fog. "You belong to US now. Stay." The skylights blinked 3 times, and I felt something move inside my own mind. The trees by the roadside bent outward, as if the truck was holy or dangerous to them. Laughter came from the radio, first like children, then like distorted, broken metal. The rear view showed another road, filled with trucks driving without any driver. I touched the window. It was warm, pulsing lightly like skin trying to breathe. A puddle formed on the floor. Not oil, not water, but black liquid memory. My body tingled from toes to neck, as if the ground was absorbing what I was. And just before I passed out, I heard, "Your body is still yours, for now." I woke up slumped on the wheel, but the road outside was no longer the same. Everything was gray, flat, like I was inside an old photo with no depth or life. I tried the radio. The voice wasn't human, and didn't try to sound like one. It said, "We're rewriting your origin. Accept it or be lost in the loop." The road now climbed, and climbed, an infinite spiral like the sky's intestines. The lights moved in pairs, drawing symbols my mind begged to forget. My body shook, unsure if it was fear or a new identity settling in my bones. The dashboard flashed. Replacement in process, evacuate self. The cab breathed with me, but in reverse, inhaling when I exhaled. I wasn't driving anymore. I was just a vessel. The road drove through me now. In the passenger seat sat a reflection, but it was what I'd become, not what I was. It stared back, smiling like someone who already knew the ending. The radio whined high, then whispered, "Your model is functional. Continue." The skylights turned red, and everything outside froze, as if time had been unplugged. In the mirror, I was crying, but my eyes didn't blink. They were dry, paralyzed. The road was silent, but I heard footsteps, many, marching beside the truck. Handprints appeared on the window, small, thin, long fingers with no nails. I tried to speed up, nothing. Tried to stop, nothing. The truck just glided forward. A burning metal scent filled the air. No fire, just change. And then I saw another trucker, identical to me, waiting just ahead. The streetlights blinked out one by one, leaving only the sky glowing with silent judgment. I saw figures on the roadside, still, tall, wrapped in shadow like living statues. They turned at once when I passed, as if my body gave off a command they recognized. The radio played a lullaby, the one my mother used to sing when I was a child. Each note slowed, deepened, like time was sinking into the cab's metallic lungs. On the dash, phase complete. Only transfer remains. The road bent in on itself like a spiral, pulling me toward a horizon that didn't exist. A strange city rose ahead, made of light, sound, and broken mirrors. The truck rolled forward. No road beneath, only air pretending to hold my weight. And I understood. The road wasn't a place anymore. It was a being, and I was inside it. The mirror now showed two caps, one real and one built from flickering, pulsing light. In the light cab, someone was seated. It had my face, older, with hollow, empty eyes. The radio crackled in code. Every pulse felt like a thought hacking into my brain. Trees leaned toward me like antennae, listening, studying my presence in silence. The dashboard vibrated deeply, like a drum calling ancient things to gather. The skylights formed a ring. Inside it, a road spun in a perfect, breathing spiral. My seat was sinking slowly, as if swallowing me with velvet teeth from below. I tried to scream, but my voice echoed outside, as if I were already standing there ahead. A shadow stood still in the road, waiting like it already knew my outcome. This road had no end. It was the end, and the beginning of something else. Entirely, the cab began to dissolve. Walls became translucent, then fluid, then disappeared. My hands floated above where the wheel had been. Now gone, now irrelevant. The radio declared, "Your body is now part of the path. Your story feeds the route." Everything outside froze. But inside the cab, time raced in fast-forward bursts. I saw lives I hadn't lived, roads I never drove, but remembered with terrifying detail. My eyes were wide, yet I saw visions only memory could produce or invent. The creatures watched from beyond. They didn't speak. They waited, patient, perfect. The ceiling glowed with seared words. "You are now a conductor of frequency 47. I reached for the door. It opened. But outside, there was no ground, only breathing fog. I stepped forward and fell into myself again, like a broken simulation restarting. The déjà vu never stopped, but this time, I knew what came next. I saw the script. A single black drop slid upward on the window, breaking every rule of gravity. The rear view showed faces floating behind me. None had human eyes or remorse. The dash lights faded, one by one, until nothing remained but silence and pulse. The radio played back my voice, in languages I never learned but somehow understood. Each phrase issued commands, and the truck obeyed. No hesitation, no delay. I sensed someone behind me, but my cab had no backseat. Never did. I hit the horn. No sound came. Only a muffled scream trapped inside the chassis. A mirror formed on the floor, reflective and thick. I floated within, unconscious. The road groaned. And I knew. It knew me now. And it wouldn't ever let go. The lights returned. Red this time, constant, blinking with coded meaning. Outside, rows of identical trucks drove with no drivers, quiet and endless formation. They moved across a floating road in empty space, as if gravity had surrendered. The radio said my name, then added, "Active copy. Original has been processed." My hands no longer moved by will. They obeyed something deeper, wired inside me. Above, the sky cracked open like skin, revealing orbiting, living glyphs. Something exited my chest, memories, emotions, my very sense of self. The cab now glowed with internal light, part flesh, part circuitry, part ritual. The road no longer existed in matter. It was concept, and I was locked inside, and that concept was growing, alive, using me to stretch farther than reality allows. A gas station appeared ahead. Lights flickered. It looked real, but nothing smelled right. I parked the truck, stepped out slowly. The ground felt soft like humming, charged sand. A man stood at the pump, still, facing away, waiting, like he had always been there. I approached. He turned. It was me. Younger, cleaner, more human than I was now. He smiled. Teeth too perfect, too symmetrical, too unnatural to be real. He spoke. You came early. We're still formatting your next version. I looked up. A vortex was forming, and I blinking between dimensions. I ran, but the station vanished. I was back in the cab, soaked in my own sweat. The radio whispered, paradox contained. Copy accepted. The route continues, and I understood. I was just another report, and the road still hungered for more. The road now bent upward, leading me beyond the planet into something not made. Of Earth, planets circled above, like silent headlights from a fleet that had no need for roads. The radio said, trajectory updated. You're a nitrogen monoxide longer driver. You're a vector. The lights above didn't shine. They scanned, pierced, entered every corner of thought. Each headlight that passed blinked a pattern like alternate versions warning each other. The wheel melted, turning to vapor shaped like my original hands reaching forward. In the window, my reflection pulsed. Something inside wanted out. Something not me. Entity complete. Burned across the ceiling in radiant, blinding letters. My mind split. One part remained. One moved forward. One became the path itself. The road breathed with me. At every turn whispered a story I had never lived before. A portal appeared in the sky, slow and spinning, like the universe's forgotten keyhole. Other trucks entered it and came out different, sharper, no longer anything human. I was pulled in, weightless, while my cab dissolved into sparkling fragments of thought. My skin changed, each cell rearranged into something ancient and unfamiliar. My hands now had 3 long fingers, smooth, glass-like, and colder than any metal. The radio said, mutation complete. Consciousness stabilized in new structure. I passed through. The old world vanished. This one was alive, geometric, echoing. Others were there, like me. Former truckers repurposed into vessels for something cosmic. The road was no longer a route. It was a network, a neural system that stored us. We weren't drivers. We were hardware. And the journey had never been about destination. The road shimmered with solid light, pulsing in rhythms that made me remember and forget. The ones who led us here had no bodies, only minds that whispered without words. They spoke inside me. Your report has been logged. The cycle will now restart. I returned to the cab, but now I saw with 4 eyes. To wear mine, to weren't. The dashboard offered new options: warp time, bend space, replicate memory. The radio hummed, infinite versions available. Merge with yourself freely. Behind me, the road vanished, consumed by the wheels as I drove further into thought. Each bend triggered a memory, but they weren't mine. They were downloaded, forced. I touched the mirror. It shattered silently, revealing other versions of me trapped inside. They screamed, but I was the reflection now. The road had made me its echo. The sky blackened like ink. The ground turned to glass, showing what I didn't want to see. And the reflection, my body was gone. Only clothes remained, like I'd never existed. The radio said, you're the root. Your body is a vector. Your mind a source. Signs floated. Nitrogen monoxide returned. Accept your nature. Your road. Each word cut deeper, not into flesh, but into whatever soul I still had left. I passed through portals, ruins, and thoughts, rewritten by a voice that wore my tone. Far ahead, another truck drove toward me. Mine again, fresh, beginning the loop. We crossed paths. The driver looked at me. It was me again. New cycle, same shell. Ahead, the road lit up, and someone stood there smiling with a cracked, familiar face. It was my reflection. The road brought it back, only to replace me one last time. And so, the haunted highway stayed alive, with truckers who forgot who they were. They drive with no destination, carrying others' memories in a loop that never breaks. With every journey, the road rewrites identity, recycles bodies, merges minds. It no longer captures, now it creates. Abduction is just the beginning. The radio still whispers, in every language, always the same warning. If you see lights in the sky, don't stop. If the radio says your name, don't answer. If the road feels different beneath your wheels, it's already too late. I'm still driving, unsure who I was or